Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Rewind That. It's your girl, Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Today, guys, we are going over The Wire. I'm sorry I said we are. We are going over The Wire. Season 5, episode number 2, guys. It's been a while, but we're back. Season 5, episode number 2. The episode is called Unconfirmed Reports. And as I was driving home, because I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, unconfirmed reports, right? And I'm trying to figure out where we're going with this title. And then I had to think about it and I got it. And we're definitely going to talk. Sometimes there's a lot to say about the episode, or there's a lot of meaning in the title or in the quote of the episode, which is going across the screen. This ain't Aruba, B. And that's by Bunk. That's 2 weeks in a row, 2 episodes in a row where Bunk has the quote. Hey to Eric S., Rashonda Greer, J. Mac, Daria. How are you guys doing? Let me bring my girl up in here. Thumbs up if you ready, Mama Sita. Hey, girl.
What's up?
You look cute and stuff.
Thank you.
You
Oh,
welcome.
I got my earrings, so I'm not putting anything.
Oh, you look cute enough. I couldn't tell if you didn't say anything,
Hey,
All right.
Eric.
All right, guys. So as you can see, we are back. What's up, Marlon Easton? You're right on time.
What's
All right.
up?
I was battling. If you guys are looking at the thumbnail, I was battling Moochie between which thumbnail I should use. The one that you see with Avon on there, or this one right here. Because I just, you know what's going on in this episode when it comes to McNulty and even Freeman. So I was just like, which one should I use? But I had to go with Avon because of course I always love to see the OG.
Yes.
And I know you can't wait to talk
I feel
about
like
that.
this season, you're gonna get more covers with those two. So I'll leave it at that.
I know you, girl, don't be saying I feel like you already know it.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. This is a crazy season.
You already know. Okay. But yeah, so all right. So here's what we have. First up, we have Bubs, right? His sponsor wants him to share his story about Sherrod, but he doesn't. We find out that he's been clean for 15 months, I think, coming up in like Thursday or something like that, he says. But he was kind of making jokes, about how he was leaning with it, like, like they kind of dressed him up as a scarecrow because he's doing the lean and all of that. But yes, I guess it's all right to make jokes every now and then. But his sponsor, do you remember his sponsor's name? It's okay, but somebody will do it for us. Marlon, let us know what his sponsor's name is, please. Marlick or Marlon? I said Marlon.
Waylon, that's his name.
Who?
Waylon.
Waylon. Okay, yes. So Waylon is telling him that I was hoping that you would share, right? But we're not going to go into that right now. But he's just not ready right now, like.
Mm-hmm.
So did you want to say anything, or
did he actually mention Sherrod's name?
He didn't mention him on this one.
He wants a deeper thing with him. He does. He likes the fact that he's getting up and talking, but he wants more from him.
Yeah, and we'll get to that part as well, because later on he does tell him that he got to dig deep. Mm-hmm. So next we have Sidner, who tries to get. I'm sorry, not Sidner. Freeman tries to get Sidner to understand that this situation, this case that they're working on with Clay Davis is actually the case. You know what I'm saying? It's better than street work. Like, it leads to the money behind the tragedy. And Sidner is like, I mean, I get it, but I still rather street work, and I still want to know. I wonder what Marlo's doing right now.
Exactly, because they were so close to getting them. And they was getting a sense of their patterns where they can start following them. They know where they going to do their meetups. They doing their police work, and they seeing it was starting to pay off but now they're pulled from the case.
Yeah, ain't that a shame? It's
Yeah,
always like when they're right there,
right there.
just like before, when they pulled Freeman off of when he was chasing the money and it was leading him to Clay. I think in season, what was that, season
Yeah,
3?
season 1 with the
They
bag
pulled
man.
him. They pulled him off, and I'm like, yo, as soon as this, every time when they're right there, right at the tip, about to, you know what I'm saying, then they just throw it down the drain. It's like they don't really want things to come out. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Tamika?
Hey,
So,
Tamika.
so Sidner says, yeah, but I still wonder what Marlon, I'm sorry, Marlon, I can't see your
Marlo.
name in the chat because every time I see your name in the chat, it makes me
You
say
gonna
Marlon
say
instead of
Marlo.
Marlo. So he says, I still wonder what Marlo is doing right now. And Freeman said, celebrating. And that was kind of true, right? Because in that next scene, we see them like, yo, it's time to get to work. I put no work in the. You know how freaking
Know what I'm talking about? Know what I'm trying to do?
there's too much talking going on. You know how she go, okay? She is such a she really likes to delete people. I don't
She's
like
like a
that about her.
serial one.
Yeah, I don't like that about her. She just, that's all she want to do is put in that
But
work.
how many people did she actually delete? Because Chris was doing most of the work.
She just kind of there with them. I mean, we saw her delete
Yeah,
somebody today.
yeah.
We aim and shoot and but we ain't gonna talk about that yet. But we did see her do a little something. But you're right. How many people has she actually, whatever? But she likes what she likes it. She likes her line of work. She just can't wait till he gives the order. You know what I'm saying? It's just very, very irking to me. But so bringing them up, right? We got Marlo and his crew. They're excited to be getting back to work now that the police are off their backs, right? And Snoop is ready to murk something. Of course, like I just said, she ready to murk something. And she says that it's been too much talking going on. And so Marlo says that the first order of business is gonna be they're gonna bang on the Webster Franklin's corner. That's the guy's name, but they saying whole names, okay. They're going to bang on his corner a couple of times until he folds. Then they're going to take care of Junebug for talking trash. Then they're going to find Omar and take care of that because he can't have him getting away with robbing them. And even though Chris says, what if they Joe is saying that you might as well just leave that alone, you know what I mean? And Marlo says, well, it don't make no sense in having the crown if people gonna always be able to rob you, something like that, he said.
He
But
make me sick with that.
yeah, but you get obviously what he's saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't wait till we get to the scene where he sees Avon. Oh my gosh. But we're gonna work. We're gonna go. Did you want to say anything about this? Because as you can see, the cops are off their back, so now they're ready to get back into the
Yeah,
work
they
that
ready
they.
to get back to getting money.
Yeah,
So
not
they
just
ready
getting
to get back
money.
to getting money, deleting people,
They
and
read.
all sorts of nonsense.
That's what it really seemed like. That most of all, they want to get back to deleting folks. It seems like that's really all he ever really wants to do, which is so annoying to me. What's up, RC? So now we have Bubs. This is when his sponsor, Waylon, tells him that he has to get out of his own head, right, and talk about Sherrod. He says you got to let it out to let it go, right? But of course, Bubs is fighting against this, and he tells his sponsor that he feels nothing, which of course is a lie, right, Moochie? Like he's just this is a danger. The way Bubs is going about this, this whole situation, his mourning and his grief, this is not healthy.
No.
And I think that's why, in fact, I want to say I know that's why Waylon is concerned, because this is an addict. You know what I mean? Like you can't have suppressed feelings, because what do they do to self-medicate? You know what I mean? So he don't want him to fall off the daggone wagon because he holding on to feelings and he won't get it out. So, but did you want to say anything extra about this?
Yeah, I wanted to say something as far as this whole conversation with him and Waylon about how he needs to really share that the loss of Sherrod and losing him, because this is basically what made him hit his rock bottom
Mm-hmm.
to start to actually ask for help,
Yeah.
than to actually it's actually to address his addiction problem. So
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I wanted to when we talked about the first scene with him making it funny where everybody would laugh,
Mm-hmm.
that's basically the camouflage the hurt that's really going through him,
Yeah.
but the hurt and the guilt. Excuse
Mm-hmm.
me. What's up, RC?
He trying not to feel.
Correct.
Like he's trying to tell himself he doesn't feel anything, but he obviously does. So that's a
Excuse me.
good point. Like you're saying you don't feel anything, but you're over here trying to make jokes. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that's just that. Like that's why he wants him to say what it is, because first of all, when you go through things, you got to share your story to give other people hope. It's not just about you. You're
No.
sharing your story, like you're telling people why, like this is the reason why I did what I did, because I hit rock bottom, because I feel like I was responsible for this kid that I loved like a son. I was
Hmm.
responsible for him losing his life. And you never know what your story is going to do for somebody. It could save their life. That somebody in that meeting will probably be ready, like, you know what, I'm done with this. Later on tonight I'm about to go get some, and hearing that story could probably stop them. You know what I mean? I don't know. Just you just never know what your story could do. So I'm with Waylon, obviously.
Right.
You gotta, do what you gotta do. All right. So also we have Carcetti. He finally takes the cap off of like the off of secondary employment, and so we have Bunk and the crew. They're talking about how they have to get a second job because once again they're not getting paid for all this, all the overtime they were doing there. They everything is being cut back and stuff, so they are just not getting paid well, right? So Rhonda comes in and she's like, oh, slow night, huh? Because they I think they only got like one call or something like that. And then McNulty says, oh, I'm sure things will be picking up now that we're no longer sitting on Marlo Stanfield. And so she's like, I didn't make the call, So they're going back and forth and everything. Look how McNulty is looking at her like, yeah, whatever. You is full of garbage. So, she don't really want to go back and forth with him, but she says, the rules are the rules, Jimmy. And he says that it's rigged. The game is rigged, you know? And to me, this reminds me a lot of what Bodie tells him when he talks about the street life and how the game is rigged in the streets. And he's saying the same thing when it comes to the police work in this city. The game is rigged. And I'm just like, did you get that from Bodie? You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, I feel like he got it from Bodie, but I think he can see where Bodie was coming from because he's on the other side of the law, feeling the same exact freaking way. What do you got to say about that, Moochie? What's up, Little Rock?
I feel like right here, this is when he was starting to piss me off because you blaming Ronnie and it ain't even her fault.
Mm-hmm.
She don't make the decision. She's just a spoke in the wheel, just like you, and you
Right.
coming to her with all this attitude
Mm-hmm.
and his just a smirk, all that. He pissed me off this episode. This is
Yeah.
when he was really starting to piss me off.
Look at
This
this.
season, he pissed me off. He sulks like a kid when he doesn't get his way.
Yes. He acts like a spoiled brat. Ugh.
Yeah.
Disgusting. So, after Rhonda leaves, she's like, gentlemen, bye, and I'm like, wait a minute, don't just say gentlemen. Hold on now. I'm being petty. Kima right over there too. Don't forget to say bye to Kima now.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, um, so when Rhonda leaves, Kima was like, why what you, getting on her for? She did not do anything wrong. Like, calm down. So then there was a call that came through about, this dead old lady, and he just jumps up and get it. And it wasn't even his turn. Like he's just, ugh. I get what you're saying, girl. He's a hot freaking mess. Okay.
Yeah.
So next, guys, we have this interesting meeting. And honestly, when I first started watching this season and I saw the newsroom and all, I was just like, I don't know how much I'm going to be into the newsroom situation, but they've got their own stuff going on up in here as well. And this
Yeah.
is the reason why, listen, if I wasn't interested, I wouldn't even highlight it, but this is really important to see what's going on as well. It's not even just about the newsroom. It's all about favoritism and stuff like that and how, we're going to get into it. So, like I said, there's an interesting meeting going on at the Sun. So we got the head guy right here who is he tells the crew that they need to look into the schools more and address the problem there, right? Explore them, right? Scott says you don't need a lot of context to examine what goes on in one classroom, and Gus begs to differ, right? But the lead guy agrees with Scott, and he puts Scott in charge of exploring the schools. So he says, this lead guy right here, Marlon, I'm not talking about Gus. I'm talking about this white guy right here in front of me. I know Gus.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he's saying, well, what's going to be the budget line for the story, right? What's the series about in a sentence? Like, how are you going to explain this in a sentence, right? And Gus says something to the effect of Johnny can't write because Johnny doesn't have a pencil. You know what I mean? Basically
Mm-hmm.
trying to say like that's what's going on in the schools is that they don't got supplies. They don't have, it's a lot going on. You can't just sum it up to one classroom visit and then come out with a story. And that's what he was trying to say. But it's just annoying when you see this guy right here who is always like undermining everything that Gus is saying. Gus is not a superior for no reason. You know what I mean? But he keeps undermining everything he says. So just talk about this one scene right here, Moochie. What do you like? How did you feel about this?
As far as with everything with the school, with when they mentioned the school, it made me think about the kids. It made
Mm-hmm.
me think about Prez and the books and how he found all those books downstairs
Yes.
he wasn't using.
Mm-hmm.
It made me think about how the paper is declining with getting stories uh because of technology and social media and things like that.
Uh-huh.
So this is like the beginning stages of all of that. It was 20 years ago, and look how it is now with the papers. Like they basically hit the Wire was ahead of his time with stuff.
Yeah.
The Wire was ahead of his time with stuff as far as showing you, giving you the peek behind the curtain of what's to come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yep, lack of resources. And here's the thing that irked me was this guy right here, whatever his name is, he says to Gus, he says, I know what the problems are. My wife volunteers at the schools. How does that equate to you knowing what the problems are? That's like, yeah, you could vicariously, hear a few things or whatever by way of your spouse because they come home and they tell you what's going on in the job. So you do have a little bit of insight, but your wife volunteers at the schools. And if you knew that much, then you wouldn't be saying that you don't need you don't need a lot of context to know what's going on. Even that, all right, if you go back to them observing, remember how they observed that classroom and the superintendent came in with all those people and they observed the one day. The
Mm-hmm.
one day showed them that the program wasn't working, but that was a bad day.
Right.
And they've been doing so well. You gotta go there at least for a whole week
That's how I
before
feel
you could
too.
before you could make some type of assumption or judgment on the situation. Like, I mean, first of all, not even assumption, judgment on the situation, because if you do it one day, you're just assuming that, oh, this is how it always is. I mean, look at what happened in Prez's classroom. A girl got sliced in his class.
Yeah.
And then you fast forward to how he is now. His kids are like angels in that class now.
Yep. A
So it's
girl
like,
was sliced. The whole little bathroom incident.
mm-hmm. So, and you got Randy was sneaking out of his class and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going
All
on.
of them,
So,
a lot of them sneaking out of school. Sherrod,
mm-hmm.
the whole
Yep.
the whole truancy thing.
Yep. So this right here it irked me, especially because it seems like it was the white gets the preferable treatment, right? Preferable treatment. Sorry, I felt like I couldn't say that. And
Preferential.
no, preferable
Mm-hmm. Okay.
treatment. That's what I was just trying to say, because it was like it wasn't rolling off my tongue. That I hate when that happens
You got
to me.
tongue tied.
Yeah. But I
You
wonder if it was a white guy, like if Gus was another white guy, would
they wouldn't have had this conversation like that,
right.
because you know why? His wife is probably not even going to schools that's in an area where they are
Mm,
lacking supplies, lacking things like that. Let alone,
Yeah.
and she's probably in a private school of some
Yeah.
sort.
Yep. That's a good point right there. Cause
Like you're not even seeing the problems that he know about.
right. So he takes it on the chin. Like I'm talking about this guy Gus. He just he rolls with it. So far that I see, you could tell it bothers him, but he just rolls right with it. Like, all right,
Yeah, it's
you know,
bothering him the way the paper's changing. It's
yeah.
bothering him how they got to hunt for stories. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of things is bothering him about how how the paper is declining.
Mm-hmm. And then now that they're grasping for at straws, they just want to pick anything up, and they're kind of like losing the standard of the paper, which we'll talk about later as well. So
Mm-hmm.
we also have this guy Freeman. He's watching Marlo and the crew basically on his free time. He said what he had. He said what he said to Sidner, but he's still out here like watching. He's staking
Yeah,
them out,
because they
watching
so
their moves.
close.
Yeah, watching their moves. He's just like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do this. Okay, so
Looking at his little
next,
miniature book.
hmm next, I had to crop out this little doorbell that was sitting up on this
I
guy
didn't
here.
even see the doorbell.
Girl, a knob,
Ding
child.
dong.
Yeah, it was a ding dong. The dope fiend is
Ding
dead.
dong.
So Jimmy is down at the morgue for the old lady that he got the call to earlier, right? And he
Mm-hmm.
learned some new information while he's down there. This is somebody from the county or whatever that he know. And there's this overdose victim who has strangulation marks on his neck, but it's not really strangulation. So the people at the morgue, they want to chalk it up to, they wanted to treat it as an M, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're telling him, listen, the lady is saying that we witnessed the paramedics grabbing the guy by the neck to pry him out from between the toilet and the bathtub, right? It's like a freak situation. And they can't tell that it's post-mortem because on a fresh dead body, it could still get bruises. Like if something happens to a freshly dead body, like what happened with him getting, pulled by his neck and things, he could still get bruising. And so
Mm-hmm.
this opens a whole new door for McNulty, which we won't talk about yet, but this is a very key scene for
Mm-hmm.
McNulty.
A
Um,
Pandora's box.
yes. So did you want to add anything to this whole situation?
I mean, he's just summing things up in the beginning. So if when this is going on, I'm just like, what is he thinking now? What is he
Mm,
thinking about doing? What kind of mess is McNulty gonna make out of this?
right. Mm. Oh boy, here we go. Right. So here we are with this scene, Moochie. Okay. So
Yes.
Marlo tries to go visit Sergi, but he gets Avon instead. He learns that he got to go through Avon first to get to the Russian. And Avon tells Marlo that up in here, like, I'm somewhat of an authority figure. And I love when Marlo realizes that he's not as powerful as he
As he
thinks he
thinks.
is. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
like there's avenues, even in the prison system, there's avenues. There's a hierarchy even in the prison system amongst criminals. And I love the fact that he has to get a rude awakening every time. Go ahead, Moochie, talk about it.
I just like how smooth Avon walked out there.
Yeah.
Because he was expecting surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Or should I call him Boris?
Boris,
Every
Boris.
always Boris. No, but I
Boris.
just like how smooth he walked in and was like, you got to get my help in order to get what you want. So
Mm-hmm.
I liked how smooth Avon was with it because now you don't have me going to war with you, and now you still got to speak to me, and we gotta
Mm-hmm.
handle something out on the street and been all getting money.
Yep. And you see that I'm still the king, basically. I may
Mm-hmm.
not be out on the street, but clearly I got way more pull than you ever had.
Yep.
So here it is that he makes sure that Marlo sends his sister 100 large before he could come back. Like next time you come back, you will, if you send my sister 100 large, next time you'll get to
Meet
you
him.
won't be me, it'll be Sergi. So I'm like, all right. But this one thing I didn't like though about this scene was uh Avon being friendly as far as West Side, we always, West Side need to stick together and all of that. And
That's what
I
they
didn't
should have
like
did
that.
on the outside. These
No,
dummies.
yeah, that's true. I just didn't like it because I don't feel like Marlo deserves any help. Like, make Marlo work harder for that. But at the same time,
He did
I
get a
think it
hundred
was a
thousand
good,
for his
yeah,
sister.
that's what I was about to say. It was good because he was able to hook his sister up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's awesome. I mean, she's got he can't pay her for her pain and suffering, but he's still
Mm-mm.
trying to.
Yeah, he's trying to make it right with her.
Yeah. So but I didn't like that part, but I loved when he was like, you got to go through me or whatever, and he was like, I do. He said, yeah, you do. Like, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what you thought this was. Surprise. When he walked up there, surprise. Marlo, when he first saw Avon, Marlo was looking around to his right, looking to his left, like, who Avon here
Remember,
to
he
see?
came for his when he got a ring. Martha was sitting in the back last season.
Right. And
Yeah,
so, but this time when he came out,
when season before, I mean.
Marlo was looking around like, who he here to see? Because
Mm-hmm.
I know he ain't about to. I know he ain't here to see me. And it
Nah, but
was just hilarious.
I'm the gatekeeper.
Yes, yes. RC says, I was a little surprised Avon didn't ask for more than 100 large. I guess one step at a time. You know what I mean? Don't get too greedy.
I keep in mind it's 20 years ago. That was a lot of
Yeah,
money back
that was a
then.
lot. Marlo may hold down the streets, but Avon is still the king. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Avon trying to buy his sister's love back.
Mm.
Listen, regardless if he gets it back or not, he gonna take care of her. That's the least he could do. But she played her role in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So she shouldn't be blaming him all the way. You pushed the game on your son at the end of the day. So
Exactly.
we're not gonna get into that, but that's a fact. That's not my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. All right, guys. So next, so once again, this was a awesome scene. Sorry, went back too far. Look at Marlo's face. Eat it. Eat the doo doo that Carcetti be having to eat. So we also see that Bubs he gets his meals at a soup kitchen, right? Something like that. So it looks like literally all his sister is doing for him, and I'm not downplaying what she's doing. It seems like literally all she's doing for him is providing a roof over his head. Like, everything else you got to fend for yourself, bro. Like, I'm not supplying you with no meals, no nothing. How do you feel about that, Moochie? Do you think that, I mean, do you
I
agree?
mean,
Like,
I understand.
no,
Look.
I
She don't
do.
want to leave him in the house.
Yeah.
I don't think. I feel like you gotta. I feel like she's making him earn his way back.
Mm-hmm.
Earn his trust. Earn her trust. So he
Yes.
has to earn his way back. I feel like this is part of the process.
It is. It is. And I'm not even judging it. I'm just, making an observation as to say it's just a roof.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere to keep you safe, bro. But you
Yep. Bring
gotta
your own
get your
blankets because
grown.
I'm not
Yeah,
even gonna keep you warm.
exactly. I mean, you did it on the street. You know what
You
I'm saying?
know?
So you can find some way. So he's making his way, and going to the soup kitchen is one of them. So hey, all right. So next we have Freeman, and you're gonna see this picture first, but it's Freeman and McNulty. They asked their Fed friend. I used to know his name. This guy right here, him
Oh
right here.
yeah, forgot his
Um,
name.
so they went to him, right, for a favor, and he takes it to his superiors. And
Mm-hmm.
this guy right here, and he tells them that it's a good case and the police could use the help. All Freeman and McNulty want is 2 weeks of camera surveillance, and they believe they can bust Chris and Snoop or whoever else is connected to all this stuff, right? But the U.S. attorney right here, he has a personal vendetta against Carcetti. That's what we know. But the dude right here, he doesn't know that. The one that the Fed guy that McNulty went to, he doesn't know. He wants to find out what it is because he knows that it's personal. He just don't know what the situation exactly, right? He don't know the specifics of the situation. Okay. So McNulty and Freeman, they can't shop their case around anywhere else. The guy tells them that DEA and ATF and customs, they are shut out across the freaking board. All right. I think they're saying his name is Fitzpoo. I don't know if that's what it is. That's a terrible name.
Ugh.
But but the point is, you remember this guy, right? This is the same dude. He wants Clay on a silver platter, and Carcetti didn't want to give it to him because he said that's not my call. And he's like, oh, well, then I'm not helping you. And so Carcetti said, well, then go screw yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Inga, hey, Inga. So that's that. And we see that they're shut out. They're going to have to figure out another way. All right. Mooch, if you're looking for the name, they already said it. So I don't know if that's what you're doing, but
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
don't do it. All right. It's not that important, but it's okay. But yeah, they're shut out. They're shut out across the board. So now we're back at the lab, right? I'm sorry, not the lab. I'm thinking about they calling Tyrone. Girl, switch back. We're back at the newspaper. What's up, DeMarcus? We're back at the newspaper, guys. And Scott brings a story to Gus that can't be used as far as Gus is concerned because the kid doesn't give his real name, his full name. He just gives a street name, EJ or whatever, right? But then the boss comes in again and he tells Scott, he gives him praise. Oh, that story was wonderful. This and that. I don't think you need to change a thing, and then he gives Scott the Aryan nod is what I want to say. Sorry, guys. He gives him the nod like, yeah, like I got your back. Don't worry. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm trying not to. I need to stick to what.
Scott was a jerk.
I need to stick to what's going on. So Scott is like, oh well, yeah. I don't think everybody agrees with you or whatever, and so that's when the boss says to Gus, well, you don't agree, you find something wrong with the story. And he's like, yeah, I mean, the guy, there's no ID on the kid or nothing like that. And he said, well, maybe that's just showing that the kid doesn't want to go be ID'd because of the truancy situation, just sounding really stupid.
How are you making excuses though for this guy's story and you don't even know?
Exactly. That's why I said he gave him the Aryan nod because
Marlon Easton got it right.
Right, the Aryan, exactly. I'm white and I say so, and that's it. And then when he walks away, he gives him that nod, like, see, I got your back. I don't want to say it. I'm not gonna say it. YouTube might flag me, but be good, girl. Be good. So anyway, as soon as what'd you say?
I said I'm gonna keep my mouth closed. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to go ahead.
So he's like, all right. Gus says, hey, the man spoke, the boss spoke, so that's it. Congratulations, and keeps it moving. But of course, later on, we find out that he is annoyed. And there's one lady was there saying, there's no art, like there's no name, like no specifics on this kid. Like, you're not bothered by this story. He was like, of course I'm bothered by this story. Like, the heck you think? So you could just really see that this guy really has his hands tied, Moochie. I mean, we're not going to talk about him for the rest of the episode. So you want to say something that, keeping it here in this episode about him?
I like the fact that he's pointing out stuff with people, but he does it with all of his reporters. He'll tell you how to word stuff, tell you what words you're using wrong. And I like the fact that he's on top of his game with everything. So he feels like the W's, who, what, when, where, why. This guy's not putting all those out there when he's telling his story.
He's terrible.
Yeah.
What's up, Detroit?
Hey, Detroit.
He's really a terrible reporter, right? I mean, he has to be. Like, how do you think, if I would not feel good as a writer if I don't have all that information? If my story's not detailed, especially don't have no art, it's supposed to be the lead story. And there's no art. That's what they're calling it. There's no art. So it's like, how would you even feel good about yourself or have any kind of pride about your work and it's mediocre? Like that sucker should be on the 15th page or something like that. Like, what is
Yeah.
this story?
It shouldn't. You know how when you open the paper and it be something like where it just be a little article
Uh-huh.
and it be like in like how you saying that's just how it
Mm-hmm.
should be. Like where you be like, and this weekend we have so and so, and then they show that article.
Exactly. Exactly. It's just it's ridiculous. So I'm annoyed. I'd like to see him stand up or something go on, but we'll see. All right. So Bunk, Jimmy, and Freeman, they're talking, of course, they're talking about how things in their city might be different if the murkings were of white victims. This is where the quote of the episode comes in. This ain't Aruba, B, right? Because this happened here and have the cheerleader goes missing, blah blah blah. McNulty is even saying like he knows that if it was some white people getting murked, this would be a whole nother. They would not be overlooking it, right? And a lot of this stuff, it shows why McNulty starts doing the stuff that he does. Because this is what happens at the end of the episode. I'm jumping a little bit, but since we're here, I just want to say this part. I know that he gets on your nerves, Moochie, but you see all of the buildup.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you can.
I
It's
see the
not.
build up. I see the frustration.
Yeah, it's not
I
like he's just jumping out the window being a brat. Like there's a lot. Like he's, and I'm not on his side. I'm just saying I like the fact that the way they did. They took their time with this with his frustrations, and it's like, well, this now I'm really. He's always been the type I'm gonna do it my way, but now he done got when he went to that morgue, that was really not good. Because if he would have found this out a long time ago and he would have been on homicide, he would have been had this thing going on.
Oh heck yeah.
3 the hard way, yes. So, did you want to say anything about this scene? I mean, they drink so freaking much. Gosh.
I know, and look at all the empty bottles there. Most of them bottles up there is empty. Dad, you still got some in it. Johnny Walker.
Yeah,
But that Grey
you.
Goose looked empty. And so did that other bottle next to it.
And they paying on a IOUs. Get them
Oh
IOUs
yeah, they
out
got
of
a
here.
tab, and the
I'll
guys
be like, y'all better
come
get up
on,
out of here.
guys.
Yeah, I'll be like, y'all gonna have to get up out of here with this. I'm
He said,
sorry.
come on, guys. When are you guys gonna pay me?
So Eric says, you think they wouldn't call out the 82nd Airborne if these were white people getting murked? That's what Freeman says. A quote from Freeman. All right, guys. So now we got Chris and Snoop and Michael, the young pup, right? They staking out Junebug's place, and Chris schools Michael on why he always shows up to a job an hour earlier. He says, I don't want no one setting up on me while I'm setting up on them. Very good way to think of it, right? And then Snoop, she joins in saying, yeah, because ain't nothing about surprises. Ain't nothing good about surprises on this in this line of work.
In this kind of work.
So ain't nothing good about
like
surprises.
she really got to punch a clock.
Yeah. She's something else. So then, Michael, he asks why they were taking out Junebug. And the simple answer to this is not a quote, but the simple answer is because of gossip, guys. They heard Junebug said that Marlo be sucking the lollipops. All right. They heard that. So now Michael is kind of like, he like,
so
what?
Y'all just gonna take them out because of that?
They heard? Yeah, they heard.
You don't even know if it's true.
Right. And Chris says it don't matter if he said it, it's that people think he said it. And it's like, tag, there's really you can't be a human around this dude, Marlo. This is why I always hated him so much. And here is what I was talking about, guys. When I was driving home, I was like, and I was thinking about this situation and Michael, and this is to me where the title of the episode comes from. Unconfirmed Reports, right? This report about Junebug saying this about Marlo, it's not confirmed. And that's what Michael is saying. So y'all didn't even check to see if this is actually freaking true, and y'all just gonna act off of some hearsay. And it just goes to show that Marlo was a freaking evil. evil douchebag. That's all I gotta say. Michael always did ask a lot of questions because Michael was smart, and they will see just how smart he was later on. Thank you, and let's have no spoilers. Thank God I know a little something something, but no spoilerific type of hinting or anything like that, Inga. Moochie, monitor these comments for me, my love. I messed
Right.
up by reading it before you did.
I
Okay.
didn't. Yeah.
All right. So he's saying all this stuff. So why he got to get dead just because of basically some hearsay, and you hear Snoop
We
told
didn't
him
care
because
what
he got a
Junebug
big
said.
effing mouth. Yeah, he got a big effing mouth and need to shut up whatever he said. I wish I could remember exactly what she said word for word so I could do a
She
better
probably said something.
impression.
Probably say, "Right, don't stupid out there."
So I could do a better impression because she basically said because he got a big effing mouth and you need to shut yours because you running your mouth too daggone much, youngin.
Asking
And
too
then you
many
saw,
questions.
yeah, and then you saw, he kind of was like that, and you saw. Do you see how Chris looked at him through the rear view?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what was that look about? Like, is he catching on that
He know that
Michael?
his puppet's smart.
Michael ain't really gonna be that easy to mold because he got his own mind. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's what they should have noticed from the jump, though, with him. He was
That's
the
what
one
I'm
that didn't
saying. He
take
was the one that didn't take the money.
exactly the one that didn't take the money. So why would you take him under your wing? He's not gonna easily go into your to the way of things. Like he's not. I don't know. He's not gonna follow command too easily. These are not people that you. These are not followers. You don't recruit if you're not about really like elevating folks like that.
Mm-hmm.
You should not recruit leaders. Michael is somebody that's more of a leader. He's not somebody that's gonna be, like, yeah, little soldier, tell him what to do and blah blah blah. Like he's gonna think about it before anything. And so what makes this scene worse, here it is that what I wanted to mention about this is that we see how in this scene how Chris and Snoop work to trap people, right? When they about to get on somebody or make a hit, do a hit, sorry guys, we see how they work. Somebody go through the front, another one comes to the back, but this time they got three people, so they send Michael around back, and he said whoever come through the door start blasting, right? Unfortunately, when he gets back there, he sees a baby coming through the door. This kid is probably between I'll say 6 and 7, right between 5 and 7 years old. He's making a dash, running out, and Michael got his gun raised, ready to blast whoever coming through the door. What he's not
Mm-hmm.
expecting is that a child is coming through the door,
Yeah,
and you
that was
hear
the
another
crazy
kid in
part.
there. Yeah, you hear another kid in there crying, saying, "Mommy, this and that." They killed these people in front of little kids.
Mm-hmm.
It was a brutal situation. Moochie, go ahead and.
Michael saw that little boy run out, and I know he thought about Bug.
He
But he
felt
like,
you
I
saw it
couldn't
on
do
his
that.
face.
Yeah, I can't do that. That's like
Mm,
somebody my brother age.
yep. Oh, that was sad. Marlon said Mike didn't fall in line like the rest of them. Sure didn't,
Hmm.
you know. Um,
They
but
would have had a better chance of you. Let me ask you this, and be honest. They would have had a better chance of convincing of molding Weebay's son, Naaman, than this one. But Naaman didn't have the heart.
right, and that's what I was gonna say. Naaman was too scared.
Yeah, but he would
I
have been
feel
scared.
like
He was already scared of them.
yeah, I feel like because, like you said, because he didn't have the heart, it probably wouldn't have worked on him. He's the type of person that would freeze up or mess around and get himself shot or shoot the wrong person, an innocent person. You know what I mean? I just feel like he would try his best to do it, but he would screw up because he's so scared.
I feel like with him with Naaman, he it would have went just like, let's say if the roles was reversed between Michael and Naaman,
Mm-hmm.
things would have played out exactly how Bunny Colvin said. He
Oh,
don't
with
see
the
him
whole street.
lasting 2 to 3 years.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially the way Marlon get Marlo. Oh my gosh, Marlon. He's like the last three comments.
I know.
especially the way Marlo gets down. All right, there's no you have when Marlon hit the streets, guys. The life expectancy of a drug dealer or a street dude or even a civilian decreased by a very high percentage, in my opinion. You can't even be a working person, a security guard in a store, a delivery woman. Like, you can't even be those people with this kid. You gotta stay the heck out the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So we also have that Marlo is able to finally see Sergey, and he convinces him to set up a meeting with Vandas because Sergey was telling him, "Listen, I don't need money. This in my country, this is not prison. I can do this in my sleep." Of course, he didn't say that, but
He did say something like that though.
yeah, this is not. I don't need money. So he had to convince him, like, listen, if I am coming to you and I may have to you know I don't know, whatever he was basically, I'm trying to get my mind together, so I was reading something, guys, I'm sorry. So basically Marlo is telling him that if it turns out to be a good thing, right, if Vandos and the Greek, they they happy with the exchange and doing business with me, you're going to be the one responsible for setting that up. So wouldn't you want that or whatever? So we don't see how that meeting goes, what the results of that meeting in this episode or nothing like that, but I'm pretty sure we will see the results of it. Okay. So then next, guys, we have Kima. We get back to this scene right here, not this scene, but the aftermath of this scene, and we see how they went ham. The scene, the murking scene is terrible.
It was horrible.
It's brutal. And then there's a child in the closet. So we see this kid, he got away. Then there's also a kid that's in the closet, and Kima's the one that's on the scene, and she finds him and she picks him up and she tries to take him out the back because you got the papers outside. Do you want to say anything about that scene,
I
Anuchi?
the cop the officers that was in there, they really messed up on this one because they were supposed to sweep that house to make sure it wasn't nothing in there. They could
Mm-hmm.
have put themselves in danger.
Mm.
So this was sad because that kid was a toddler.
Aww.
He wasn't a big kid.
Yeah, this was the older kid that ran out.
Yeah, that was the older
I
kid.
think that
Huh?
kid might have been like what, 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's why I said a
The one that she
toddler.
picked up,
Hmm.
yeah. Oh, sheesh. Marlon said that the scene looked like a butcher shop. I mean, did you see the lady?
Hmm.
Her insides were hanging out.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was bad. I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to be graphic about it because I every freaking week I have to send this through for them to review it so that they can freaking monetize it. So I don't want to say too much, guys. All right. So next we also see that Bubs, he volunteers at the soup kitchen because once again Whalen is saying, listen, you got to step up. You know what I'm saying? There's a time that you have to just step the heck up, because he asked him, he said, can you do the opening for for me or whatever, because the guy that normally does whatever, he's not here. And I guess Bugs was feeling, I'm sorry, not Bugs, Bubs
Uh,
was feeling like he didn't want to do it because he thought that maybe it was about sharing. And
hmm
Waylon was like, it's not about sharing. It's just, you're just opening up the meeting for us. You know what I mean? And Bubs didn't want to hear it. And he said, listen, you're going to have to step up sometime. You know what I mean? Like, it's, the way I'm looking at it, it's like, listen, bro, you've been doing this for a year, 15, almost 2 years. This has been going on. You
hmm
can't stay in the same place. You can't be on the entry level stuff. It's time for you to level up and take some more responsibility in this situation, right? So that's what we see. We see him there volunteering at the soup kitchen. We saw him earlier when he first went to the soup kitchen, and there was a lady in there that was threatening to beat her child and stuff like that. So he was looking around like, what's going on up in here? Did you want to say anything about Bubs and this, just not this scene, but just even the whole episode and what he
Well,
was
he's
going
really
through?
trying though. He got that job at the paper. It's like we're seeing the progress of him, but it's not going to
Hmm.
happen overnight. So I'm kind of waiting for the change.
Yeah. But do you understand the frustrating of his sponsor?
Oh yeah, no
I said
doubt.
the frustration.
Yeah, I understand the
Sorry.
frustration of Waylon, because it's like, you're not opening up, and he's basically watching him and hoping that he doesn't have a relapse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's really concerned about him. I mean, he was the one that was there and went to the hospital and found Bubs looking the way he did.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, you don't want. And at the same time, I would like to even say that's a friend. So it's deeper than just, oh, I'm your sponsor. Like, I've seen you at your worst, and I'm just here to make sure you won't mess that up again, my brother. All right, guys. So now we're at the final scene, and this is where we see Jimmy. He stages his first murking, right? His first crime. I don't want to say crime. His first M. All right, the first
Mm-hmm.
he uses a homeless man, and he tells Bunk. He does this right in front of Bunk. Tells Bunk to watch the door, this and that, and he
And
said,
Bunk is totally against it.
"Yeah." He's like, "There's a serial killer among them who preys on the weakest in the city." And once again, I say he should have never learned this at the morgue, because now he's he's basically staging the whole, staging the scene. And if he say that is there's a serial killer, that means that this is not going to be the first time, right, Moochie?
He's getting
If,
it ready. He's
yeah, if he's
he's
saying that
he's
it's a
like
serial killer.
he's just making. I think, like you said, going back to that morgue thing, McNulty's his brain is like churning and
Mm-hmm.
make it. He's gonna make sure that they get their case where they get the person they want to get. That's what he's trying to get work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The crazy thing is, he's what you consider good police. And what he just did with the whole his body, banging his body into that drywall and stuff like that. Like, if somebody like him were to really try to dig into this case, they would have to try to do the measurements, like the look at the size of this man opposed to whatever. But you know what? It's deep. It's too deep. I don't want to go too deep into it, but I'm just saying. Let's say that the dude was bigger than him and he used his own body to go through the drywall. That could raise suspicions too, but at the same time, it's them on the crime scene. So there's really nobody that's gonna go and be like, let's go look at this crime scene again. But then again, if this is a white person, they might go the extra mile. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's what happens. But they're looking at it as like a base. Well, Bunk is looking at it basically like a junkie OD.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Well,
like
that's what it is.
it's nothing. Yeah, but McNulty wants to try to do something different,
McNulty is trying to make it
and
look
he
like
don't.
a M,
Yeah, and
a
he doesn't want
deletion.
to. He doesn't want to. He really doesn't want to participate with this Bunk.
Bunks want
He
no
doesn't
parts
like it
in
at
this.
all.
No parts. Remember, McNulty is the one. All of us know this. McNulty is the one that he's the rogue. He's a rogue cop. I don't want to listen to nobody. I don't.
Hmm.
When I get pissed off, it doesn't matter what anybody gotta say. All right, guys, that's that for today. Thank you guys so much for being here, hanging out with us, and me and Moochie Scoochie. Hopefully we're gonna be back here on Tuesday. I don't have a real reason not to be here on Tuesday. Last week I did have to I had to do some writing, a lot of writing. So I don't have that coming up this week. So hopefully we will be going over episode number 3 on Tuesday at 10:05. So come back. Y'all come back now. All right. Thank you so much for being here, Marlon, Eric S, Inga, Detroit King was in the building, Daria, Demarcus was here. All of you guys are wonderful. Thank you so much. Moochie, thank you again for being
Thank
here.
you for
You
having me.
guys take care and be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.